outwardly gregarious nature, Dawson was very much a loner, a man who valued almost nothing other than his dog and his memories of 3 childhood friends, more than his treasured solitude and privacy. The seemingly endless succession of pretty and adventuresome young women who briefly crossed his path found that out quickly, too. A few days, or a week or 2 at the most, was all it ever took for even the most dense or inattentive of them to discover the underlying reality. In spite of all outward appearances, this ruggedly handsome, muscular, humorous, artistic, and enticingly dangerous man was a person very much out of place and out of step with the surrounding world. Born in the wrong state and in the wrong century. That's what everybody had told him from as far back as he could remember. Should have popped out of his mama's womb in the middle of the Texas Panhandle or the Missouri Breaks, rather than the mountains of southern Oregon. Back in the time and place where the concept of one riot, one marshal, a damsel in distress, and not even a prayer of a backup really meant something. Which is one hell of an ironic twist when you stop to think about it. From his crouched position in the far corner of his cabin, Dawson stared numbly at the torn and bloody carcass of his dog. The Malamute's lifeless eye stared back, questioning and accusing. How did we end up in this situation? Your fault or mine? Ironic as hell, because there isn't a distressed damsel within 20 miles of this place, or at least none that I know of, and I could sure use some backup right about now. He felt a drop of sweat, or maybe it was blood, he couldn't tell which, and really didn't care, start to slide down his cheek, and he instinctively readjusted his hands around the polished walnut grip of the ancient but fully functional revolver. Couldn't risk a slip now, because his first shot had to be dead on the money. Might not be time for a second shot, because whoever or whatever it was, and wherever it had gone, it was too damn fast. Might even be faster than the damn bullet for all I know. Dawson blinked in confusion at the thought. Then a chill ran down his spine as he turned his attention for a brief moment to the weapon he was holding in an instinctive, straight-armed, two-handed combat grip. But he really didn't have to look. Now that his attention was focused, he knew it by feel. His treasured model 1873 single-action Army Colt Peacemaker, the very same make and model revolver that Colonel George Armstrong Custer's men carried at the Little Bighorn, and loaded with ancient, balloon-head, copper-cased ammunition dating back to Custer's disastrous fight with Sitting Bull Sioux and Low Dog's Oglala warriors, a .45 caliber, 250-grain soft-nosed lead bullet sitting in front of 40 grains of FFG black powder. Translation? A big, slow, and undependable bullet. Shit. I should have gone for the Smith. What the hell's the matter with me? But then he glanced across the basement, in the direction of his open bedroom, where his modern Smith & Wesson .44 Magnum revolver lay beneath his pillow, and remembered. The far more lethal weapon, with its deafening concussion and incredibly fast and reliable hollow-point rounds, had been a good 2 or 3 seconds away from where he tumbled to the floor. No, that's right. I wouldn't have made it. Good decision, he told himself, as he readjusted his grip again. He was vaguely aware that his arms and wrists were starting to get tired, but he had no idea why. Thinking about his other weapon options caused Dawson to realize that his right shoulder was pressing against the heavy, octagonal barrel of his Sharps rifle, a weapon made famous by the fictional Matthew Quigley, and the shorter rounded barrel of his Sharps military carbine. Both weapons were chambered for the middle finger-sized .45-70 cartridge, which meant a substantially bigger, faster, and harder-hitting projectile, and thus a serious temptation, given the unknown nature of his now barricaded intruder. It would be easy to twist around and grab one of the unloaded rifles, but the Sharps were single-shot weapons, and slow loaders to boot, and the dozen black powder cartridges he'd carefully hand-loaded for each weapon the old-fashioned way were secured in wrapped-up canvas cartridge belts hung over the trigger guards, so he quickly pushed that option out of his mind. Colt single-action's a fine gun, long as I don't have to reload. Gotta forget about that goddamn fool Custer and stay with my instincts. Only way I'm going to get out of this room alive. He understood now, much too late, what his subconscious mind had been complaining about all along, that he and the dog would have had a much better chance if he'd actually possessed